From a record protest movement across the country to wild swings of public sentiment at the ballot box.
Turn the volume up.
In 2025, the people of America stood up and pushed back.
Friends were better than this.
Let me be clear. This is not a hoax.
President Trump has crossed a line. And this time, it's not going to work.
Tonight, the power of no. An hour-long look at the growing resistance to a power-mad president.
You better comply, because otherwise you're not getting any federal funding. Every state, good, I'll see you in court.
And what that resistance could mean for Trump's second term.
Somebody convinced this president that attacking immigrants would work for him politically?
That shows no heart, and that's the problem. Like, you're not going to get any reasonable people to want to go along with that.
I'm not sure who had a weirder 48 hours, me or the CEO of Tylenol.
But All In starts right now.
America is a nation that has always been defined by tension between power and people, between authority and accountability, and in results swinging in unexpected directions. But beneath the noise, something deeper was happening. A quiet but powerful force was rising. Turn the volume up, because this is the sound of a country saying no. At the beginning of the year, the message from the White House was clear. Power was absolute. The administration projected confidence, inevitability, even invincibility. The election had been won, they said. The future was settled. But America has never been a country that stays quiet for long. Across the nation, people began to push back. Not all at once, not in one single place, but everywhere, in ways small and large, in moments that didn't always make headlines, but slowly changed the direction of the story. In Washington, something unexpected happened. Lawmakers, some from the president's own party, began to resist, quietly at first. A nomination delayed here, a procedural rule defended there. The message wasn't loud, but it was firm. The presidency is powerful, but it is not limitless. Checks and balances, long dismissed as outdated, suddenly mattered again. In Congress, pressure campaigns failed. Closed-door meetings didn't work. Phone calls from the highest office couldn't force obedience. Votes went forward anyway. Documents were released. Executive orders were challenged. For the first time in a long while, the word no echoed inside the halls of power. But this story isn't really about politicians. It's about judges, some appointed by the very administration they were now restraining, who ruled that power must still answer to the law. It's about court decisions that reminded the country that authority without limits is not strength, it's danger. It's about states pushing back when federal power crossed a line, governors refusing to comply, legislatures rejecting pressure. Even in places where the president had won by massive margins, lawmakers chose their voters over intimidation. And most importantly, it's about ordinary people, teachers, shop owners, students, retirees, parents watching their children's future feel less certain by the day. When neighbors were taken away, people spoke up. When silence was expected, voices rose. Not because it was easy, but because it was necessary. This is a good moment to pause and say this. If you care about stories like this, about power, democracy, and the people who protect it, make sure to subscribe to this channel. These stories matter, and so does staying informed. Millions of Americans took to the streets, not just in major cities, but in towns where protests were once unthinkable. Different ages, different backgrounds, different political beliefs, united by a single idea. This country does not belong to one man. They marched, they voted, they showed up to town halls, they refused to look away. Even institutions that once tried to stay neutral were forced to respond. Media pressure worked. Corporate pressure worked. When voices were silenced, audiences pushed back. When decisions were made behind closed doors, the public opened them again. Elections told the same story. Districts long considered untouchable flipped. Candidates who ran on loyalty to power lost, to candidates who spoke about accountability. Again and again, voters sent a message that couldn't be ignored. This wasn't about party loyalty anymore. It was about trust. Trust in democracy, trust in fairness, trust that no one, no matter how powerful, is above the law. There were moments that felt almost unbelievable, grand juries refusing to approve cases that felt political rather than just, communities rejecting fear-based tactics, citizens choosing courage over comfort. History often makes resistance look neat and heroic in hindsight. In reality, it's messy, it's slow, it's exhausting, and it's filled with doubt. But courage, once it appears, spreads. One person stands up, then another, then 100 more realize they are not alone. And that's the real story of America in 2025. Not a story of chaos, but of resilience. Not a story of collapse, but of refusal. Not a story of one powerful leader, but of millions of ordinary people doing something extraordinary. The year isn't over, the struggle isn't finished, and the future isn't guaranteed. But one thing is clear. In the face of unchecked power, America remembered who it is, and it said no.